Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
We would like to modify the format a little bit and invite all of us to participate. Pancharatna Prabhu just appeared transcendentally. So we invite everyone to join in our offering to Srila Prabhupada. And usually, if someone is copying what somebody else has done, you call it plagiarism, right? But in our tradition, we do repeat. When they praise Srila Prabhupada, you opened so many temples, you accepted so many disciples, you printed so many books. And Prabhupada said, if you want to say what I did, what did he say? Ramesvara Prabhu. I simply repeated what I heard from my spiritual master. That was my activity, you know. The result may or may not be there. Teresa of Lisieux says, you know, not everyone is called upon to do great things for the Lord, but any one of us can do some small thing with great love. So, why do you come here?
For Prabhupada.
Huh?
For Prabhupada.
For Prabhupada, right. We come here to please Krishna. When you're trying to do something, if you know what you're trying to do, then you can evaluate whether or not it's successful. So, all of you are successful. We are successful because we're doing this as an offering to Krishna. We may think, I want to get enlightened, I want information, I want inspiration, but that all comes as a byproduct. But we come here as an offering to the Lord, as an offering to Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna is pleased. Krishna is smiling upon you with a big smile, right? Okay, so we're going to offer a song, and my printer didn't work, so it's a very simple song. Gurudev. We're speaking to Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes in the Vyasa Puja's homages, we speak about the Guru. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. This is a song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our great-great-grandfather. So we're plagiarizing, we're repeating what he offered to his spiritual master. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Like that word? Abide. I mean, hang in there. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul that burns with pride. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, Prabhupada, make this servant always abide. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul that burns with pride. Okay, now there are the words, there's the meaning, and then there's the feeling. So we want you to just reach down deep in your heart, say these same words with the most extreme, sincere feeling. Ready? Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, Prabhupada, make this servant always abide. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul that burns with pride. Just one more time, one more time. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, Prabhupada, make this servant always abide. Grant me strength in adversity, cool my soul with pride. Ah, good. Wow. Krishna smiling. Gurudev in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace. Gurudev in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace. Chanting the holy name in jubilation, only then will all my offenses cease. Gurudev, everyone, in Krishna's creation, let me be vessel of your peace. Chanting holy name in jubilation, only then all my offenses cease. One more time. Gurudev in Krishna's creation, let me be a vessel of your peace. Chanting the holy name, jubilation, only then all my offenses cease. One more verse. Gurudev, I'm fallen and low. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears will surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. Ready? Gurudev, I'm fallen and low. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears will surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. Gurudev, I'm fallen and low. Without your grace, useless am I. Waves of tears would surely flow. Without your love, I soon would die. These are the words of great-grandfather Bhaktivinoda Thakur offering to his spiritual master. But we'll do one more verse. Gurudev, your sweet mercy please bestow. This wretched sinner forever to save. You're a swan, I'm just a crow. Keep me as your beloved slave. Gurudev, your sweet mercy please bestow. This wretched sinner forever to save. You're a swan, just a crow. Keep me as your beloved slave. But go to the first verse again. Gurudev, with a drop of your mercy, make this servant always abide. Be straight in adversity, cool my soul that's burned with pride. I think you know the words to this next part. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please everyone chant. It's an offering to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're all glorifying Srila Prabhupada together. We're all praying to Srila Prabhupada together. We're following the footsteps of the great-great-grandfather, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. So, I think that's 15 minutes, or do you want more?
I think you have 5 more minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. We'll do one song here, okay? Can you please pass these out?
Yep.
Now, Madan Gopal gave a class recently, and he said, even if once in our life, even without a lot of conviction or sincerity or seriousness, we say to Krishna, Lord, I'm yours. Lord, I'm yours. Kelsey, that baby is so beautiful. Hare Krishna. Okay, so even if we say even once, Lord, I'm yours, at that point, Krishna hears that and he reciprocates with that, and he would. And Krishna will help us. He will bring us from wherever we are to the highest platform. So, this song is about, Lord, I'm available. I'm yours.
Is this an original song by you?
No. This is written in everyone's heart.
Yes. Yes. Everybody's good.
Guru is making a signal.
Yeah, if anybody mind moving up.
Please come here. There's a few seats in the front. Please don't be shy.
Hare Krishna Prabhu is like the campfire.
Hare Krishna.
Close to the campfire.
Oh, God Almighty. Jai Prabhupada. So if we sing this song, it's actually life-changing, right? So we ask you to just listen to it. I'm going to sing a verse and then we'll sing it together, please. You ready?
Yeah.
Lord, I'm available to you. Lord, I'm available to you. Use me, Lord, to show someone the way. I'm satisfied to say, I joyfully surrender. I'm available to you. You want to try that one? Ready? Oh, I'm available to you. Lord, I'm available to you. Use me, Lord, to show someone the way. I'm satisfied to say, I joyfully surrender. I'm available to you. One more time. Lord, I'm available to you. He hears you. Lord, I'm available to you. Use me, Lord, to show someone the way. I'm satisfied to say, I joyfully surrender. I'm available to you. Krishna heard you. You gave me my hands to reach out to man, show him your love and your perfect plan. You gave me my ears so I can hear your voice so clear. I hear crying from my brothers, help me wipe away their tears. Gave me my hands to reach out to man, show him your love and your perfect plan. You gave me my ears so I can hear your I'm available to you. Lord, I'm available to you. Me, Lord, to show someone the way. I'm satisfied to say, I joyfully surrender. I'm available to you. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Lord, I'm available to you. Lord, I'm available to you. Use me, Lord, to show someone the way. I'm satisfied to say, I joyfully surrender. I'm available to you. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hi. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshusun Militandjena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vyasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. First, I'm glad you put a time limit because it's quite possible to speak about Srila Prabhupada endlessly. Actually, as you can speak about Lord Krishna endlessly or about Lord Chaitanya endlessly. So, someone as special as our Srila Prabhupada, why do we keep saying he's so special? There are so many angles of vision. Obviously, the most obvious is that no one in the Western world outside of India had ever heard of Krishna consciousness. Or if they did, it was a complete distortion. A few scholars, religious scholars and so on, had distorted ideas about Bhagavad Gita and the spiritual message of Bhagavad Gita. Even in India, huge distortion and misunderstandings about Lord Krishna. So the prophecy from 500 years ago that what Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself, what he brought into our universe would be carried and spread and established and manifest in every town and every village and every city and every country and every continent on this globe. And that seemed inconceivable. And then Krishna caused Prabhupada to appear, to accomplish that prophecy. So that's the obvious reason why we always say, oh, Srila Prabhupada is so special. Pancharatna just arrived. and his lovely wife just arrived. When Prabhupada disciples appear, it's like, look how effulgent he is. So, in the few moments that I have, I wanted to share just a few thoughts about why I feel that in addition to that obvious external manifestation of fulfilling prophecy, why I've come to understand how special Srila Prabhupada is. Oh, thank you. Panchakalpatarubhyas chakripasindhubhyeva chapatitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai. Hare Krishna. So, when I first came, oh my God. The world's greatest book distributor has just walked through the door. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Amazing. I had no idea. Is that what your surprise is?
Yeah, I didn't know he was coming.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, please, we have to be able to see you.
Yeah, there's somebody to sit here.
Yes, please. Everyone from your ashram, please.
Sit over here.
Hare Krishna.
There's some over here.
Is there anyone in this room at this moment who has never been to a temple before? Or not? Everyone has. So everyone has a base of, most everyone has a base of knowledge about the Krishna consciousness movement. So that's good. So we don't have to explain.
No explanation.
Okay. When I first let me say it like this. In my youth, I wanted to find a path to God, whatever my conception of God was. I thought that was the purpose of life, to actually experience God. I probably had Mayavadi or impersonal concepts. I had concepts of looking at the beauty of the sunsets and the sun and the world, and I had all different concepts. But I knew that to get out of, well, to achieve the highest level of consciousness, one had to associate with God. That was my concept when I started searching for a guru. And I spent some time, like many of the early devotees, unsuccessfully encountering so many different gurus that had come to the West. And I even moved into their ashrams, and I tried to see what they had to offer. And then the first time I met Prabhupada disciples, I knew I had met I knew I had found my eternal guru just by seeing them on the street having a Sankirtan Yagya Kirtan party. I knew immediately, somehow. But I had no idea the depths of this spiritual knowledge. I started reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and I had superficial understandings, especially with the purple Gita, the very, very abridged first Gita that I started reading. But today, I realized several things. That whatever I thought I knew at different stages in my Krishna consciousness is like a pebble or a piece of sand on a whole beach of sand. It's so nothing compared to the totality of what Krishna is, what spiritual knowledge is, what the spiritual world is, the more I spend time in Krishna consciousness, and some may think, oh, the more I know, I am so blessed to understand how much I don't know. And I think that's a blessing. I did not understand when I first started reading the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna said to all of us, never, never means whatever concept of time we may have for this, when the universe began. Never was there a time when any of us did not exist. Now, in my thoughts, that means I existed before this universe. Never will there be a time where I cease to exist. I did not grasp that Krishna is describing that we are billions and billions and billions of years in this universe and we're still here. I didn't grasp that when I first started reading the Bhagavad Gita. However, whatever point in what we call material time this universe became manifest, that's when we entered this universe. Everyone in this room, that's when we entered. At the beginning of each universe is when we, the souls that are conditioned and attached to material life or have material desires, that we're not ready to just merge ourselves in love of God, we want to still experience material things. That's when we enter the universe. So I have been so astounded by just thinking that how long have I been in this material entanglement? So many times I've heard Prabhupada give classes that the purpose of life is to find a solution to the cycles of birth and death. But I didn't understand how many cycles that is. How many billions of years have passed. So that's one perspective that I try to share when I try to explain Krishna consciousness to others, that we all existed before this universe, will exist after it ends, and if we're not ready to go back to Godhead, we will enter into the next universe. Trillions and trillions and quadrillions of years of material existence and material cycling through different bodies. So when Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita that as we pass, just in the human life to understand, to help us understand, as we pass from boyhood to youth to old age, we similarly enter a new body at the time of death. We shed clothes like our old garments, and we enter we put on new garments, a new shirt, new pants, new clothes. That's exactly what's happening to us millions of lives over and over again. And the more deeply I can grasp this, the more deeply I can try to have the desire to rise above the bodily conception of life. This is the great gift of spiritual knowledge that makes Prabhupada so special. That he was able to take Krishna's message and impart it to the entire planet in a way that they could understand, that we humans could understand. That we sit here today and we're like almost shocked how many lifetimes I've been here. I'm still here. It's one perspective, but there's another perspective which is equally as amazing, I feel, the more I study. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that I appear in my original form once every millennium. And in the West, the word millennium is thought to mean 1,000 years. That's what they think of as the word millennium. But the way Krishna uses that I descend and appear in my original form once every millennium. That means once every 4,320,000 earthly years, Krishna will appear. Once every 4,320,000 earth years. So, what's astonishing to me, I'll just go a few more moments, is that if I had been born as a human 10,000 years ago, I would know nothing about Krishna. I would know nothing about Krishna. Krishna, there's so many Kali Yugas, there's so many millions of years. Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, and we are in that cycle. He came again 500 years ago. This is beyond rare that we would be in that cycle within a span of 500 years. And then he sends a Shaktivesh avatar into the universe to explain his message and his appearance and his pastimes 120 or so years ago. And the fact that we have a human body in this period of time out of millions and millions of years, we could have been right now in an animal body, a tree body, a bird body, an insect body. The fact that we are all sitting here in this room in a human body is so rare. Not just to have a human body, which is very rare. You have to go through 8 million births and deaths in different species before you even get a human body. 8 million deaths and births and deaths and births just to get a human body. And if one misuses it and falls back into that cycle, millions of births again before he gets his next human body. It is so rare that we today, right now, are all sitting in this room in a human machine, in a human body. How special that is, and does anyone feel they deserve this? No. We can't even imagine all the things we've done in these millions and millions and millions of years of births and deaths. How did we get to be in this time in a human body at the exact time where Prabhupada and his disciples and grand disciples are sharing this divine potency of the holy names of Krishna's message? It's beyond calculation how rare, I didn't deserve this. It's unthinkable that I'm here and had contact with Prabhupada. It's just unthinkable. So it's the rareness, it's how long I've been in the universe and the rareness of being in a human body at the right moment that is overwhelming me on this Vyasa Puja day, where Prabhupada is literally enlightening and saving us from the ocean of births and deaths that normally would have awaited us. Again, I just heard this morning in one of his classes, two things I'll end with. One is that he said the purpose of life is to make an end to this endless cycling of death and rebirth. The purpose of human life is to make an end to it. And the other thing I heard in another class today was, Prabhupada said, because we are parts of God, we have qualities and characteristics that are exactly identical with God up to a certain extent. God is filled with love and enjoys love. Each one of us, as his parts and parcels, is meant to experience love. And being misdirected by the illusory energy, we search for love in all the wrong places, and even if it resembles love, it's not the love that ultimately we're meant to immerse ourselves in. There is, what Prabhupada said is, we are meant to merge ourselves in an ocean of loving God, not loving skin or other physical bodies without connection to God. We are meant primarily to direct our loving propensity to being in that ocean of loving God. And what God reciprocates, how God, Krishna reciprocates, if you just want to love him. Well, I'll let others speak on this, but that's what Krishna consciousness is, that we get to experience God loving us in a way that's beyond all material calculations, beyond anything you can imagine. We get to experience just by chanting and by association and by reading Prabhupada's books and by serving him, by giving these books out. We get to experience God loving us infinitely. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. We can never repay you, but we'll try. Hare Krishna.
Could you hold on one moment?
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that moving and inspiring talk, Prabhu. Would you mind sharing one pastime with Srila Prabhupada? Maybe one or two? Anything that might come to mind?
Oh.
Forgive me for putting you on the spot.
No, I'm just saying, if you get me started on this, there will be many days of pastimes to share. But I can't think of one above another, but there is one that always, when anyone asks me that, I always remember that one day, and I have no idea how this happened, that I was in this situation. I wanted to be Prabhupada's instrument. I had no qualifications. I didn't complete college. I didn't have any material expertise in anything. I'd never balanced the checkbook. I'd never done any of those things, and Prabhupada just took me over as a puppet master would move a puppet. So anyway, one day we were driving Srila Prabhupada to his daily morning walk, and this particular morning we were going to a beautiful park in Santa Monica. Normally his morning walks were Venice Beach when he was in LA, but this morning we were driving him to a beautiful park overlooking the ocean in Santa Monica. And I can't remember who the driver was, but I was sitting next to the devotee driver, and in the back seat was Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So I had read some absurd story, or heard, my eye glanced at a New York Times, and I repeated this absurd story to Srila Prabhupada. And those of you who heard me say this, please just excuse that you're going to hear it again. So there was a very famous artist in the 1960s, his pop artist, his name was Andy Warhol. He had this idea that if you shock and do sensationalism, it will be a way to penetrate get their attention, so that whatever message he wanted to pass on, which was a mundane message, he did it through shocking them and sensationalizing things. And it worked. So he had this huge happening, this one particular time. This was in 1976. And whatever his happenings were, and he serves food, which of course is contaminated meat-eating food, big meals, which everyone was praising. And the reporters finally asked him, what was that you served? Or a reporter might have heard one of his guests asking him. And he replied in his way that I served the flesh of aborted fetuses as the main meal. So I repeated this story to Prabhupada. And there was silence in the car. It was even to say something like that to Prabhupada, it's very disturbing, it's very shocking, very dark. And I had my ideas, what is Prabhupada going to say? How's he going to respond to this? How is he going to talk about the great demons of Kali Yuga and their horrible habits and all that? So I had certain expectations, but Prabhupada's reply to this was so, in and of itself, surprising and like beyond anything I could have imagined or expected, that Tamal Krishna Maharaj and I, our jaws dropped open. We couldn't even believe what Prabhupada just said to us. He said, he was leaning back on the back seat of the car with his head on the, and he said, yes, they have not yet discovered that human baby flesh is the tastiest of all the meats. So if you think telling the story there was silence, Prabhupada saying that to us, there were only 3 of us in the car, we were totally, completely shocked into silence. We didn't, it was stunning. So I had a habit when I was with Prabhupada of blurting things out. It was one of my, he tolerated me doing that. So I started thinking in my head, how could Prabhupada know the different grades and tastes of flesh, different animal fleshes, human flesh, baby human flesh? I mean, how could Prabhupada even know to be able to say which is the tastiest? He's never tasted. I mean, I was blown away just thinking about that. I couldn't get past that. I literally could not get past it, so I blurted out, Prabhupada, you know everything. I didn't know how else to adjust. Prabhupada, you know everything. And then after that, I said, and Prabhupada, what you put into your purports of your books, it's not just that you know everything that's happened now in the world that we can't imagine. I could tell you stories what Prabhupada told me about the Vietnam War, but we're out of time. But that's it. Things that Prabhupada knew. I said, but Prabhupada, you are writing into your purports things we can't imagine that will be relevant in thousands and thousands and thousands of years from now. So I always approached that because I was Prabhupada's servant publisher. How does an author write for the future? No one has ever written in a way that it would be relevant 10,000 years later. It's impossible to even conceive. The human brain is so puny, we can't conceive of that. But so I said, but Prabhupada, you write so that everything in the future is going to be, your books will still be relevant. So then Prabhupada replied, and this is the point of this whole story. Then Prabhupada replied, he said, yes, that is why I have to choose so carefully each and every word. Because my books will be the law books for humanity for the next 10,000 years. He said those words to Tamal and me. So then our jaws dropped again. I mean, how many times can your jaws drop in one exchange with Prabhupada? And so that was Prabhupada. That's an example of he knows everything, and he's come to save every soul in a human body for 10,000 years because he was sent as a Shaktavesha avatar into the earth to do that. That is Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Ramesvara Prabhu ki Thank you so very, very much in indulging us in that way. It's so beautiful.
Anytime we gather, we get to remind each other about Prabhupada. It's pure nectar. It's
this-
ecstasy.
At this time,
Hare Hare Krishna
Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschachata Zatarane Om Agyana Tamananda Shah Gyanandala Salakaya Chakshud Anmanitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My dear Srila Prabhupada, I offer my most humble and sincere obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. We all want love. Fortunate souls who have the opportunity to associate with you in some way have an inkling of what real love is, divine love. Not just your radiant presence in person, but your radiant presence in the form of your purports. Always inspire the conditioned souls to reach out and cast away preconceived ideas and attitudes and want to touch Krishna's lotus feet. That is real love, and that is the platform that you want to bring us to. We needed to give up our childish notions concerning material love, which is ultimately selfishness, and grab your golden lotus feet to become spiritually situated. How to know divine love? You, Srila Prabhupada, completely know Krishna, and so you guide us conditioned souls to realize our real position as spirit souls and learn to love Krishna through chanting Krishna's supreme name and by doing devotional service. I can only begin to repay you with my heartfelt gratitude and thanks for the gift that you have given all of mankind. I rejoice that you're selflessly coming to the malicious shores to try to enlighten and inspire us about Krishna consciousness. Oh, happy day when you arrived in the Western countries, in New York City. What would have been our fate if I hadn't met you? It's hard to say. The spiritual process is austere, but so relishable. Thank you again for your compassion and willingness to help us suffering individuals. Thank you for helping situate us on the path to learn to love Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, Savior of the whole world. Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Very well. So I was just going to say that...
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Very well. I joined late in 75, and I didn't get to meet Prabhupada until 76. When I joined, I was a bit cynical. Oh, is this really the complete absolute truth? So I prayed, please, please, Krishna, if you really exist, I want to personally get initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And there I was in the outpost of Australia. He didn't really go very often. And so there we were, and then all of a sudden in April 1976, those prophetic words were heard. Prabhupada is coming! Prabhupada is coming! So he came, what happened is, one Grihasta man said to me, actually it's better if you serve in separation. So don't go to the airport to meet Srila Prabhupada. Stay back and make sandalwood paste. So I was thinking about it. Yes, it's true. In a very universal way, it's true. And so I said, actually, if it's such a great thing, why don't you stay back and make the sandalwood paste? So we both jumped in the car and went to the airport to see Srila Prabhupada. So when we saw him, of course, we couldn't believe such a transcendental soul walking 12 inches above the ground and that sort of thing. So anyway, the next day was the initiation day, and I was thinking the whole time, if you really exist, I want to personally be initiated by you. So what happened is, in those days I was looking after a little 4-year-old girl, and what happened is that when my name was called, she grabbed my hand and we both went up, and in those days the ladies paid dandavats, so we paid dandavats. And then she went up to Srila Prabhupada and she said, "Srila Prabhupada, does that mean I'm initiated now?" And he said, "No." So then, in those days, it was Pushta Krishna Swami, and he was figuring out everyone's names. So he figured out my name. So Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, Bhaktin Louise, your name is now Anita." And he said, "No, it isn't. Your name isn't Anita. Anita means without a path, and we have a path. So I'm going to call you Atita Guna Devi Dasi." Okay. And then I realized,
You have a guru.
yeah, and everything I thought about spiritual life was true and was happening right now. So anyway, Guru Kripa was a sannyas then, so he gave the little girl to help her breaking heart a rose. And then that night there was darshan, and the mothers were going up, "Srila Prabhupada, please give my children a name." So one Mataji went up and he said, "Okay, we can name your girl Pushpa." And then the little girl who went up with me to Srila Prabhupada, her mother said, "Can you give her a name?" And he said, "Yes, I'll give her the name Rose." And everyone was like, "Rose? That's not Sanskrit." And then I was thinking, what's the Sanskrit name for rose? Gulab. So that's not a very nice name. Anyway, so the next day we went to the beautiful, it's one of the most beautiful botanical gardens, and my husband and I were just there a couple of months ago in Melbourne, Australia. So Srila Prabhupada loved that. So I was walking along with the ladies, and then one lady grabbed my hand and said, "We're not going to walk in the back. We can't hear anything. We're going down to the front." So we went down to the front, and then all of a sudden Srila Prabhupada stopped at a tree, and he grabbed one of the flowers, and he crushed it and smelt it and said, "What is this?" And they said, "Srila Prabhupada, that's a camphor tree." And he said, "Oh, that's Radharani's favorite fragrance, camphor. She loves camphor." So there was one devotee there, and he said, "Srila Prabhupada, I wanted to ask you about spiritual anxiety. Now, we're from Vaikuntha, or we're supposed to be being in the attitude of Vaikuntha, and Vaikuntha means without anxiety. But I find I'm always in anxiety." And Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes. So you pick what sort of anxiety. Yes, we'll always be in anxiety. You pick. You be in material or spiritual anxiety." So that was wonderful. And so I'll just tell a little story to show that. So I was just a brahmatarini, and they said, "Actually, your service to Srila Prabhupada is to wash his cloth." I was like, wow, washing his very own cloth. "I'll do the best I can. I'll put sandalwood oil in the water, and so it'll smell beautiful." Okay? So I did that. I put a lot of sandalwood. I was the Pujari assistant, and so I could get my hands on sandalwood oil. So I put that in, and I washed the cloth in hot soapy water and rinsed it and dried it and started ironing it. And when I ironed it, what was there? Big blobs of oil. And I thought, what am I going to do? I can't give this to Srila Prabhupada. So I went to the householders and begged them for some kind of lotion to spray on the cloth to get rid of the oil. So I completely drenched it in that, and I washed it in hot soapy water and rinsed it, and then I started ironing it dry. So then I ironed it, and then when I ironed it, what did I find? Big blobs of oil, and I thought, oh, what am I going to do? I'm in so much anxiety. This is for my spiritual master, and I've blown it, you know. So then I ironed it and gave it to Hari Sori, and I said, Hari Sori, this cloth is full of oil stains, and I feel bad about it, but I'm going to give it to you to give to Srila Prabhupada. And he goes, oh, don't worry about it. Srila Prabhupada's always getting mustard oil massages. There's oil on all his cloth, so don't worry about it. And then I realized, what happened to me? I was in complete spiritual anxiety. Hare Krishna.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Krishna Prastaya Budale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatadesha Tarini Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Atita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Sitting here, 26 2nd Avenue, New York City. As you can see, work is going on, it's not yet complete, to try to bring the look, the environment, how you should say, the decor of this place to be as it was in 1966. ISKCON was here from 1966 until 68.
I think into 69.
Then 61 2nd Avenue was at 69?
Yeah, somewhere in 69.
Okay. How many of you have heard there's a devotee named Titikshava Karunika who sings songs? You heard?
Yeah.
There's a song he sang, I remember it, where he sings about being in New York City in 1967, something like that. And just thinking, I didn't meet Srila Prabhupada. I've thought of that often because I was here in 67, 68. I could have been somewhere. I mean, mostly, I didn't live in New York City. I just was visiting from time to time, but mostly in Bleecker, McDougal, that area. You know, that was the place to go for me. But I missed.
You came
And yet-
exactly when Lord Chaitanya wanted you to come.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's exactly what I was going to try to explore, because you were speaking about how rare it is. And just recently, and often this has come to me, many times it comes to me. You know, we hear about the fantastic world of Krishna. He lifts Govardhan Hill. He does all these amazing, amazing things. We hear all these fantastic stories of, and so much like you, we listened to Srila Prabhupada, and he's talking recently. He's talking about Rishabdev, and somehow he was speaking about Vyasa Muni and offending Ambarish Maharaj, and how he traveled here, and I tried to start to think, well, how did that happen? How did he get around? He's being chased. Why didn't he just kill him right away? All these thoughts go in my mind about but it pales to me with the mystery. How did I end up here? In fact, it's one of the challenges to my faith. If this is it's such an amazing, so wonderful, so incredible Krishna, how is it possible? How is it possible? It must be that, this is just one of those things, and everyone's got their something, and, somehow I got this thing, but it's just, just one of those things that I'm kind of saying it's it, because, everyone wants to have it.
You'll never make sense of it.
But you were saying, because it is so rare.
It's impossible to make sense of how we
Therefore,
contact with Prabhupada.
That's it. You can't make any sense of it, but you can accept it.
Yeah.
And be grateful. Be grateful, because it's an impossible dream that somehow has happened. Somehow or other. Just like you were contemplating. We hear anadi karma. That's no beginning to our sojourn in this material creation. I think Prabhupada gave the one example of how there's an ocean, and there's some flotsam, some driftwood in the ocean.
Almost like seaweed.
And there's a piece of wood, and it's got a little knot in it, like a little hole, and it's floating there on the ocean, this vast, vast ocean. And in the ocean there are all these sea creatures, and there's one turtle, one sea turtle who's floating around, and every time, that sea turtles, they have to come up sometimes for a little air, and so he's floating around in the vast ocean, and he comes up for air, and his nose goes right into that hole. In that flux. That's how rare it is that we are here. But I suggest that that's proof. The fact that we are here is proof of its reality, its truth. And proof of what you told us at the end, how infinite is Krishna's love for us. We were reading just now, we've been reading for Janmashtami yesterday, we were reading the appearance of Lord Krishna in the 10th canto, 3rd chapter, verses 7 and 8, which is sung beautifully by Katamrita. I don't know. You've heard that, right? I've got the name right? Karanamrita. Karanamrita. Yeah. I can't remember it. Very beautifully she sings this. And we were reading in Srila Prabhupada's purport, and we counted, I think 5 or 6 times where Srila Prabhupada, in talking about Krishna's appearance, says, Krishna's in your heart. Krishna's in your heart. Krishna's in your heart. Krishna's in your heart. Sometimes he comes out, but he's always in your heart. So in our hearts. He's there. And then Brahmanda, Brahmeti Kono, Bhagyavana Jeev. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Latabid. Brahmanda. How do you describe the universe? Brahmanda. Brahmeti. We're wandering. We're wandering up and down through this species of life and that species of life, and in and out and in and up and down and round and round.
And he stays with us in our heart.
And he's there with us.
That's inconceivable. Why would he do that?
He loves us! He absolutely loves us to such an extent. We can't imagine how he loves us. He loves us because we're part of him. We're part of him.
Hare Krishna.
And he loves us and he feels our suffering and wants to save us. And so, when we're fortunate, Bhagyavan, then within us and from outside, he plants the seed of bhakti, bhakti lata bij. And he doesn't stop there. He continues to lead us, to guide us, to keep us. He'll never forget us. Once we've just made that one small step towards him, that's it. Even by trickery. Even if someone is tricked into saying, Hare Krishna, game over. Game over. You did it. He will never force us. He cannot, and he will not force us to turn towards him. But he may trick us. He may try anything, because once we have done it, he's got it. It's like, you signed. I've got you. And I'll never let you go. No matter what. I have tried to express something in a poem, which I'll read with your permission. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvisesha Sunnivari Vashyatate Shatarine Om Agyanati Brandasya Gyananjana Shakala Chakchur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. From a distant shore, cross. Let me position myself properly here, because this is for Prabhupada. Here, 26 seconds out now. From a distant shore, cross a perilous ocean, you ventured alone, fueled by devotion and faith in the power of the Lord's holy name to penetrate the darkness and defeat Maya's game that had captured us all with an illusion of happiness in a prison of ignorance, a fool's paradise. That faith was so strong, so deep, and so wide, it brought forth miracles on the Lower East Side of that citadel of Kali, the great city of New York, a capital for materialism, a playground for its sport. Now become fertile ground to receive the transcendental seed of Lord Chaitanya's movement to bring Kali to his knees and rescue the whole world from the iron grip of sin. Through ISKCON in New York, your battle did begin. And though I have no qualities to aid you in your mission, you allowed me in your service and drew out some contribution. Using this unworthy soul, you showered me with grace and gave me a second birth here in ISKCON's birthplace. You gave me purpose, like a puppet in your hands. Lifted up from my slumber, you pulled me into your dance. Now I pray I can keep going while there's still life in these old bones. To dance in your Sankirtan party, calling all to come home and leave behind this hopeless place of never-ending strife and return to Krishna consciousness. For this, I give you my life. Your unworthy disciple and most grateful participant in your Sankirtan party. Hare Krishna.
Well, I don't know about you all, but